My name is Adam Robinson. I was born in New York City in 1955. I'm an author, an entrepreneur, and an inventor. My idea of perfect happiness is to be perfectly engaged in whatever I'm doing. My greatest fear is getting lost in my thoughts. Juan Belmonte, the greatest bullfighter of all time. Juan Belmonte fought the early part of the 20th century and was the Rocky Balboa of bullfighters. And he had the soul of a poet. The characteristic I most dislike in myself is being too reflective. I think too much. Hard being in the moment sometimes when you're lost in thought. The characteristic I most dislike in others is lack of awareness of people in your environment. What I'm most excessive about in life is the search for truth. I don't think I need another talent. I think I have my hands full exploiting the talents I have. New York is wonderful because everything is here. And by that I mean there's a kind of critical mass of creative people and resources, and they're all at your fingertips. And so serendipity happens in New York. London is a civilized place. I could live in London. We have a place in Rome. I love Rome. I love hanging out there. I could really be anywhere. My favorite distraction probably is playing speed chess on the internet. I'm a rated chess master, and the Internet Chess Club, you can get online and play grandmasters. I mean, I'm a master, but I'm not a grandmaster. And speed chess, each side has 3 minutes. So you could be playing with a grandmaster in Russia. And often when I'm trying to collect my thoughts, I'll take a 5 or 6 minute break and play a game online. That's what I do. My most treasured possession is my mind. I spent 2.5 years between the ages of 4 and 6 immobilized in a hospital bed. And so there wasn't a lot to do in the world except observe it and think about it. The lowest depth of despair is depression. That's really hell, in the sense that you just don't care anymore about anything. And that's hell on earth. Really profound depression. The top thing on my lifetime to-do list is to confront my greatest fear, whatever that is, because I'm sure I'm pretty successful at hiding it from myself. But that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to get in the ring with my greatest fear, mano a mano, and duke it out. That's what I'd like to do. I don't think there's any safety or security in the world. And that's okay. If a person is resourceful, then no matter what happens, you find a way to deal with it. So, my resourcefulness, that's what makes me feel safe and secure. Awards to me don't mean much, but what would give me the greatest satisfaction would be to see my girlfriend or my stepson win an Oscar or a Nobel or a Pulitzer or whatever it is, that would thrill me the most. An award for myself wouldn't mean that much. What was my childhood ambition? You know, it changed so much. To be a great swimmer, but at a certain point you age and you leave college and you're no longer a swimmer and you take up something else as your greatest ambition. But I don't know that I live by ambition anymore. And I think part of resourcefulness as a life creed is to see what life's presenting you and to make the most of that. And from there, things blossom. Ambidextrous is my favorite word. That was just right off the top of my head. But I like the sound of other words, like cerulean, I like the sound of. And I heard 2 comedians trying to decide what the funniest sounding word was, and they decided kumquat was the funniest word in the English language. Pumpkin, I like the sound of pumpkin. Those are some of my favorite words. Focus. Everything interests me. And so I have to rein in my interests and actually avoid contact with many things just because I know I'll get caught up in them. Oh, well, see, there you're asking me for a perspective on myself, which I don't have. I'm internally self-aware, but I'm not too aware of how I'm perceived in the world, so I don't know what's obvious about me. My favorite sound is the sound of our cat when she's purring and she puts herself right next to my ear. If I were stuck on a desert island and I could only eat one thing, it would have to be good, really crisp, hard, tart Granny Smith apples. Granny Smith apples, my favorite food. Or pomegranate, one of the two. Oliver Cromwell said to the court which was accusing him, I pray thee in the bowels of Christ, consider ye the possibility ye are mistaken. And I think we're all more or less mistaken about everything. The belief in certainty is something that I dislike. I most like children. If you catch them before their fears about life have made them be a certain way, they're really incredible. I taught a bunch of 2.5, 3-year-olds how to play chess once. And I created this big board, and they were all the pieces, all these little kids, little pieces. And I remember saying, a rook moves in a straight line, and one of them, Layla, little earnest 3-year-old, looked at me and said, what's a line? And I thought, oh my gosh. And children do that to you. They point out the most obvious things that you never thought of before. If I could change the world, I would let people know the difference between what they want and what they need. That, and instill in everyone a profound sense of their fallibility, the fallibility of their judgments about themselves and about others. They'll be less critical of others and less critical of themselves. But that's what I would do. Success and failure, accidents over which I have little control. And I'm certainly not going to pin my happiness on accidents. My motto is, out of weakness, strength.